The standard model is too mathematical. The standard model is too mathematical to represent physical reality. Here is why. The pillars of the standard model. The standard model is supported by the following four pillars. Quantum mechanics, the unified electric force, the Higgs field, an adaptive interpretation of the classic rules. Without one of these pillars, the standard model collapses. Quantum mechanics. The concept is introduced to mask the contradiction of the aspects observed on an object. Example, the corpuscular and wave duality of the photon. The dead and alive state of the cat. The open and closed state of the door. This type of concept only makes sense in mathematics. Quantum chromodynamics, QCD. Quarks have 1/3, 2/3 electric charges with plus or minus signs. Proton 2/3 plus 2/3 minus 1/3 equal to 1. And neutron 2/3 minus 1/3 minus 1/3 equal to 0. Each have 3 quarks, in contradiction with the smallest electrical unit equal to 1. The unified electric force. At the beginning, there are 3 electric forces. The electromagnetic force, quantified by Coulomb's formula. The strong electroforce, without quantification formula. The weak electroforce, without quantization formula. The unified electric force, without quantification formula. What a paradox! No quantification formula for much widths. This is a proof that the model is not good. There is further proof. The force of gravity is not included. The Higgs field. The Higgs field is imposed without any justification. The field potential is this formula. It allows to give mass to particles. What a talent! When you don't know how to do physics, you make up for it with mathematics. On the one hand, ether is denied by taking advantage of the Michelson and Morley experiment, which defines a static ether. On the other side, the Higgs field is introduced. from a physical point of view, Higgs imply ether exists. Adaptive interpretation of classical rules. Definition of elementarity. A particle is elementary if its composition is not known. What talent? When you don't know how to determine the composition of a particle, you declare it elementary. The classical definition is a particle is elementary if it is not composed of other particles. The example on the next page proves that it is not doing physics. Example, quark is not elementary. In beta decay, a nucleon decays into 3 quarks, but a neutrino also appears. Where does this neutrino come from? It can only be one of the 3 quarks. This indirectly proves that the quark is not elementary. Adaptive interpretation of classical rules. Equivalence between matter and energy. This equivalence is written by the formula E is equal to mc power square. This equivalence leads to the conclusion that the previous neutrino was born from the energy released from the beta decay. Quark remains elementary. He deduces that the law of conservation of matter is not strict. What talent? When he can't find anything, it relaxes the rule. He misses invisible materials. Another example of changing the rule to win. Another example of changing the rule to win. In 1980 Olympic Games, the Chinese won the ping pong. They changed the rule by banning the use of wooden rackets. The Chinese can no longer use the power of wooden rackets and lose their invincibility in ping pong. It's just a game, no big deal. But this reflects the spirit of cheating. Instead of learning the power of the wooden racket, the rules are changed. Conclusion. The mathematical aspect of the Standard Model is highlighted. The lack of physical conviction is glaring. The Standard Model does not strictly follow the law of conservation of matter. The definition of particle elementarity is invalid. The modeling of inert masses is purely imaginary, without any physical origin. Quantum modeling of particles is contradictory to reality. The modeling of the force of nature is wrong. Why the standard model is so mathematical? The origin dates back to the time of Alfred Nobel in 1896. Since that date, the Nobel Prize was created, but it does not include mathematics. Is it because of a love story? Maybe. Is it because of a matter of honor? Surely. It is important to know that in the West, mathematicians have always occupied a dominant position in society until today. But the Nobel Prize has unwittingly encouraged mathematicians to disguise themselves as physicists in order to be rewarded by using their dominant position. An implicit rule of physics: all models of a physical phenomenon are valid in their field of application. For example, modeling a human. Ren is a Chinese character that denotes a human. Its area of application is linguistic communication. This is an Egyptian hieroglyph that denotes a human. Its area of application is the delivery of message. The third one is an image that represents a human. Its field of application is the illustration of morphology. These three previous models all represent a human, but they are increasingly precise. But no of them manages to represent a real human in the smallest of details, especially if it involves atomic details. In physics, the principle is the same. All models have their validity. The one closest to reality wins, but none will reach reality. Requirements of a relevant model. A good fundamental particle model should have 1. A relevant definition of particle elementarity. A physical origin of inner mass. 2. A physical origin of inner mass. 3. A quantified modeling of all the forces of nature. 4. Strict adherence to the law of conservation of matter. 5. A relevant modeling of the corpuscular and wave duality of particles. 6. A relevant modeling of dark matter. Existence of such a model. There is no shortage of talent. What is lacking is talent connoisseurs. On the internet, there are many talented people who question the standard model, but Bureaucracy prevents these questions from being taken into account. There is a non-standard model that meets the required requirements. https nonstandardmodel.org. A test of the non-standard model. You have electron position in the center. On the left top you have the neutrino, and just below you have the neutrino modeling. The electron turn around the positron, and the positron turn around the electron. You have quark up, quark down, proton, neutron, and on the bottom you have some example of muon, pion, and kaon. Europe Internet links for more details. https nonstandardmodel.org, http jax.dom.free.fr.